Hi everybody, it's another book video. So, as usual, let's get started. A book I read first is a book called Thanks for the Money by Joel McHale. Now, this is pretty much a biography slash humor book. Well, it's mostly a humor book. Like, he talks about his beginnings as when he was like usual biography thing, like when he was born, like how like what place he was born, his family life, how he got started as a an actor and all that. But he tends to put his own spin in terms of like narcissistic humor. Like it's very both self-deprecating and he's clearly playing a character. Like it's pretty much his life story, but he puts a lot of snark into it. Like he's so much more self-fulfilling and self-righteous about himself. Like he like at the beginning of this book, he flat out has this perfect dream house. He has this dream house. He has this wife, and he has two children where he calls like child 1 and 2, and he gets really upset about the pool actually not being up to his standards, and then he starts shaking like one of the helpers of the house, and he's like, and his wife's like, no, we can actually make it. We have money. We can fix this pool. And then he's like having some sort of emotional breakdown, and like it's very self-deprecating. You can tell that he's having a lot of fun with this because oh, it's it's one of the funniest things I've read. Like I know I've kind of had a mixed feeling with David Cross, but this is actually kind of my type of humor. Um, think of him think of him writing this as his character Jeff Winger on Community, and he actually has some interesting tidbits about Community. And when I mean tidbits, I mean Chevy Chase and how insane like working with him is. And he has to preface that, yeah, Chevy Chase is a comedic talent. It's just that he can be a bit of an asshole. But in like this book actually made me laugh out loud several times. Like he talks about his birthplace and how like he stepped on a lot of people just to get where he is. And at the same time, not only is it a biography, but it also is um, a self-help book, like how to get an agent, how to get people to like you, how like you can be funny by making fun of people, and his experiences in comedy and whatnot. Yeah, like it's genuinely very funny. Like you can feel the snark coming out of him, and he does it in a way that's very self-deprecating. But at the same time, he gets into like his family, his friends, people he works with, and you could tell like even though he makes fun of them, he does it out of love. And it's not only for the money, but for that reason too. And that's why if you like his style of humor, like the soup and his character on Community and his 5 minute appearance in Spider-Man 2, I suggest you check this book out. It's really genuinely funny. Like a couple of times I laughed out loud and I couldn't stop. Like there was this one story about him being on I forgot which show was it? It was I think it was Dan Rather, but it was on this. No, sorry, that was David Cross. Point is, this is actually a really funny show, and he actually not only is funny about it, but he's actually more informative. Like he actually talks about the behind the scenes issues or production value of the shows he was on, and like how busy he actually is, yeah, to get to this point, to get to writing a book and actually serving his ego. Like this is clearly like him him acting as himself, like Neil Patrick Harris in the Harold and Kumar book. It's not Neil Patrick Harris playing himself; it's like Neil Patrick Harris as himself, as another character. Like this one, it's Joel McHale as himself, pretty much as Jeff Winger from Community. So honestly, I checked this book out. It's really funny. It's totally worth your time if you like comedy. Now the next book I like to talk about is Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda. A lot of you know about this because of the movie that came out last year called Love Simon, which I have in my basement downstairs and I want to watch it eventually. Now, for those of you who aren't aware, this is a book about a young kid who actually is, who has befriended, who is gay, but he's keeping it from everybody. But he has also befriended another person who is also gay through this Tumblr website, or Tumblr, yeah, through Tumblr on this website, and they keep talking through, not through the Tumblr but through emails, and they go back and forth, and he starts to really enjoy himself, like get to know this person, and then all of a sudden, like this person he's classmates with ends up finding his emails through through his school account because he was using it, and he pretty much blackmails the main character Simon into like putting a good word for him for one of his friends, um, to ask him out, like on a date or whatever. And it's like, okay, you put in a good word for me. I won't show anybody the emails you had. You went between this you and this other person. It's like, so yeah, essentially he's blackmailing this person, and it's like he's like, no, no, it's not blackmail. It's just something I want to get. And then at the end, like, I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, I forgot how I actually got into this book. Like, here's the thing. You totally get why like this is a total LGBTQ book. Everybody who's into LGBTQ literature can totally recommend this book. I recommend the movie too, but I'll get into that a little bit. Here's the thing. Everybody who knows about LGBTQ literature knows about this book and its sequel, which I will read eventually. I have it right over here. I know where it is. And sorry, this book is in a little bit of bad condition, but it's been in my tote box over there for a little while, and it's been bent out of shape. I actually kind of hoped that I should have gotten a hardcover book, but I really wanted this book, and I didn't want the movie cover. I just wanted the original cover, but I couldn't find it anywhere. So what can you do? And so what happened was, yeah, you can totally understand why he's going through these things in terms of like the plot, like why he's lying to his friends. Like you can, like, if you were in this situation, you can get it. It's like, okay, what you did wasn't right, but I could totally understand why you did it. And I'm glad it played upon that on screen, although I have a little bit of an issue with the ending, or near the ending. And I don't want to spoil it just in case anybody who wants to read this, but I'm just going to say, like, I like the movie. I do like the movie, and it actually kind of helped a friend of mine actually come out to somebody else, but I don't want to, like, I don't know. I don't want to, call them out or anything, but then again, they don't watch this channel. So, what happened was, like, I like the book, I like the movie, I like the book a little bit more, but that's pretty much an argument with everybody. It's like, the book is better. I'm like, yeah, the book is better, but they had to make some changes to the movie, and I actually like the change they made to the movie. Like, it's not clear cut. Like, it does a little Rashomon at times. It does a little Rashomon, like, this person, who he thinks this person is, that's who he's talking. That's who's like voice is he's reading in the letter. And if it's not him, it's not them, then they go to another person who he thinks it is, and their voice starts talking through the letter, and so on until like the end. And like I'm glad for those changes. At first I was confused about the movie having Love Simon instead of Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda, and I was like, yeah, I can see why it's probably not marketable and probably not appropriate for a movie that's actually a major motion picture, like it's going all over the world. I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure, all over the world, and it's a big not a big blockbuster, but it's a big hit, and it's a movie that actually, like, I don't know, speaks volumes in terms of LGBTQ issues or um uh yeah, problems and like getting to know people and whatnot. Um, One of the only problems I have with the movie is well, it's good. The Martin character, like two problems. The Martin character, um, in the movie, like in the book, you can see why he's liked. Like he's an asshole, sure, but you can see why you like him. But in the movie, it's like, oh god, this is just over the top, and he's like, he doesn't fit in terms of what it's going on. Like everybody else is normal, like to an extent, like as normal as you can be, but this guy is just straight out of somewhere else, like some sort of spastic other movie or whatever. And I don't know. It's like at least in the book you can see why you like him. In the book you can see why you like him, but in the movie it's like, oh god. And in the book, like he's pretty popular. Like he's popular enough. He's kind of a cool loser, but in the movie he's kind of a loser. Like he's trying way too hard. Like I know I get that. Like when I was in elementary school, I got that. Like me trying too hard to be like very cool and hip and like try to make people laugh. I kind of get that, and it made me cringe. Like I understand like the cringe worth, but in the movie, no. So what happens is like, and then there's the ending. Like I don't want to spoil anything about it, but I like the ending to the book a little bit more because it's a lot more intimate. Like it's like okay, they're there, and it's just intimate. That's it. He's alone and he's with another person. It's just that, and I really enjoy it. In the movie, it's like the opposite, and I don't want to say why, but it's like, it's like, yeah, I could see why, but it's just so cheesy and and to some people, I get it. It's like, okay, you just need that for storytelling, but it's like, uh, I don't need it. I like it in the book better, and of course, I recommend this book because this is the fourth time I'm reading it ever. No, the third time I'm reading it ever, and I just genuinely like this book. So, Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda, and yeah, that's pretty much good. And then another movie another book I've read is a book called Girl Man's Up by M.E. Gerard. Now, if you watch my live streams when I did the Battlefront or Battlefield 2, the last Star Wars game up to this point, I kept talking about this book, and I kept saying like I really like this book. It's about a young girl who is really a young high school girl who's really interested in girls, and there is this one girl who she really likes who's a gamer like she is, and who likes her back. And meanwhile, like um, the friends that she's with, her guy friends, actually is giving her a bit of a hard time because her like she's tight with her guy friends, but in over the course of the book, they're kind of assholes because her job kind of was to like talk to girls so one of the guys could talk to her, or, like ease them up a bit. It's like, okay, go talk to this girl, and then I'll go over to her afterwards just to ease them in, just to like ask them out. And so like it talks about her relationship with her friends, which is kind of deteriorating because like um her change in what's it called? Her change in clothing. Like she was never one of the girly girls. She was more of a tomboy. And at one point, near the beginning of the book, she actually cuts her hair into a faux hawk, and she actually has developed feelings for a girl who's actually working at an EB Games like stage store, which is actually pretty sweet because they both like video games, they both like each other, and but the problem is that even though her few friends know what she's like, her parents don't know, and her parents she has like this rift between her parents. Her brother, her and her brother and her parents have this rift in between them because they are both what's it called? They're both clearly born in different time periods. Like her mom wants her to like grow up to be like go to college, do a few things, and graduate and get married, wear dresses, and like have children. And she doesn't want that. But it's but so she's changing with her clothes, her hairstyle. She's meeting like this girl, and she's not in like her mom's not. She's not for what she's going for. She just wants her girl to actually grow up how she grew up, to be like more girly girl and whatnot, like more of a woman and not much of a tomboy. And as the book goes on, the tension gets more and more like restrained they get more and more restrained from each other to the point where there are like several blowing matches, like shouting matches, and school gets harder for her and all that, and so she just wants respect and loyalty, and she just wants to like be who she is with her friends and family, but some people are just pushing her and saying, no, you can't be like this. We're gonna bully you, and we're just gonna like pretty much at one point harass you and your family because you don't respect us. And it's like, well, it's like she wants to do the right thing, but it's getting harder and harder for her, so she has to avoid these people and find new people that will respect her. And so at the end of the day, I really enjoyed this book. Again, my third time reading it, and I like and it's actually a good LGBTQ book. It shows that like if you stick to your guns, people will actually love you for who you are, and that's kind of what I actually want to get out of this because a lot of people actually hide who they are because they're afraid, and it's understandable, but they just want to fit in, and eventually they'll find friends who will like them for who they are. And I'm actually really glad that this is actually getting more of a following now because when I started reading this, I didn't like I read about this when I was at a Glad Day bookstore, which is an LGBTQ bookstore slash like restaurant, and they have these like all these books, and I was like, okay, what's this? And I saw this, I read the first few pages, I'm like, okay, this isn't too bad, and then I eventually bought it, and I read it. I'm like, okay, this is actually pretty good. And then I read it a few more times. I kept talking about it on the what's it called, the live streams I used to do last year, and yeah, it actually got. I don't take credit because it probably like grew more of a following over the time that went on, not because of me. But I seen at the library I go to, like for a few months, this was the book at the library for like LGBTQ books, and it's actually a really damn good book. So if you haven't read it, go ahead and read it. You'll learn a lot, and you'll learn to love yourself too. I'm actually, oh man, I am recommending a full-length book. And the last book I've read is a book called Openly Straight by Bill Konigsberg, and it's about a man. It's about a young guy, a young man who actually goes to college, who's openly gay in his hometown, and he wants to just start over. And so like he hides the fact that he's gay, and so like, and then he meets this other guy who actually kind of has feelings for him, but he doesn't know what those feelings are. And so it's just and on top of that there are these his two roommates, or one of the two, he meets two new friends. He's part of a softball team. He's part of a sports team, and which is the same team as his love interest is. And there are some problems with the love interest's friend because he's depressed and whatnot. And so, and eventually they have to explore what they have together in terms of like how they feel towards each other. And the main character is trying to tell his friend that he's gay. Like he's been always been gay, not just finding out, but always been gay. And his friend is trying to figure out his feelings towards the main character. And so this book is this book may have been like a 300-page book, but it actually felt so much more in terms of like how much it packs. Like it's funny, it's sad, and it tugs at your I can't say it tugs at your heartstrings, and you know what? Sometimes that's all you need. And when I read this for the first time, I'm like, I read the ending, and I'm like, wait, that's it? Where's everything else? And then, much to my relief, there was another book, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. And so you can't end it like this. Like it's a bittersweet ending, but you can't end it like this. So I'm glad. Like I'm currently reading the next book right now, so I'll get into that the next video I do. But I still recommend this book because it's actually a pretty damn good time to read in terms of like I'm recommending so much LGBTQ books, like it shows that like this book shows that it's not always um it's not too late to figure out who you are, who you want to be. As long as you just tell the truth, get your feelings out there with the person you love, and hopefully they'll understand. Hopefully, if they don't, they're not for you. If they do, then talk it out some more, and you'll be fine. Hopefully, you'll be fine. And yeah, it goes through his hometown, like how supportive a lot of people are of him, and how much he wants to hide the fact when he moves somewhere else because he wants to start new. He doesn't want to be just a gay kid. He wants to be different. He wants to be a sports kid. He wants to be a weird kid. He has these different friends who actually like who he is, and they understand, even though they can be a bit annoying, sure, but everybody is flawed. But everybody, like, you can see that something in everybody here. You can see people, like real people in this book, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, you can. Um, yeah, there are some like sad moments and some, breakups and arguments, but pretty much that is life, and this doesn't shy away from that. And yeah, this is another book I'm recommending. I'm sorry if I recommend a lot of books. I'm just reading books that I actually, you know, go for. I actually read books that I like in terms of like the summary or what I've read about the summary. So yeah, I'm recommending all four of these books, including this one, but especially the Girl Man's Up book. So that's it for the books this week, and I will see you another time. Take care.